Welcome to CPG Vibes. No script, just chat. We talk all things food and beverage and so much more. Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcast or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review. If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service or be a guest, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com. Now your hosts, me, Alex Baer with Genius Juice, and Wade Yenny. All right, welcome to episode 101 of CPG Vibes. We are, I would say, co-host. I am Alex Baer with Genius Juice. And over to this side here, I had it right the first time, pointing up. Everything's opposite. It's tricky. We have Wade, Sir. He just got knighted somehow last week. Sir Wade Yenny. How you doing, buddy?
Welcome. Happy Friday. It's good to be here. Yeah, it's I don't feel 101, but evidently I am.
Yeah, and our ratings are, I think, around 124, 125-ish. So we definitely need to get more ratings. So just some laundry list items. Make sure, give us. And by the way, one thing that we're going to be including now and talking about more is current events, news drops, which is the same thing. I just said it twice. Things that pop up on LinkedIn. I said it 3 times now, the same thing. Events coming up. Also just fundraisers that are going on that are really cool, and you can get a piece of it and actually invest, things that we recommend. And I think also new products that we're seeing on the market. I mean, I've seen a slew of new things hit the shelves in the last month or so with the Whole Foods reset happening, and also some new items at Target. So it's all good, baby. So a couple other laundry list items. If you want to sponsor the show, cpgvibes100@gmail.com. We have an introductory price of $350. And our sponsor today is Hebel. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I did Google it before. It's Hebrew, I believe, Hebel & Co. And they have their delicious, it's an organic sesame tahini dessert called halva. And we'll talk more about that, but we're mentioning that. And I have 2 flavors here, but they have many more flavors. And if you'd like to be a guest, too bad. We're not really having a lot of guests these days. Sometimes we do. So if
Just kidding, right?
Yeah, like the kernel of truth. Like we do still have guests. We love guests. We love helping the CPG community, but we're doing more special shows, special events, value add sessions to bring just to help the CPG community in general. So, and of course, comments. Make sure to make your comments. We'll shout you out like always. And Wade, I'm especially excited today for the stuff we love. Beyond everything else I'm excited about. I have some cool new products. One that's not even on the market yet that I have in my hands right here with a label, and it's delicious. And I met with the founder a couple days ago in Manhattan Beach. So I'm super excited about that.
I'm relying on you today because I have had quite the busy day. And I don't have anything in front of me. I'm not going to completely tip my hat, but I think you and I did something in common earlier today. You did one thing with someone, and I did something else with someone else. So I'm sure in the coming weeks we'll find out what those things were. But yeah, I know what you did, whether or not you know that, but you don't know what I did. But I know what you know. But we did the same thing with different people.
Yeah, I think I know what you know about what I know. I believe. Yeah. I think I'm there, but it's turning into a semi kind of almost like a Stanley Kubrick moment here on the show for those that watch his movies. The Shining and Eyes Wide, all that stuff. It's like weird. You don't know exactly what we're talking about, but you're going to find out. And it also sounds like almost like a slasher flick. I know what you did this morning or something.
Yeah, that's right. Not last summer. It was just a few hours ago.
Yeah, very recent.
Let's just say we did something in common. But I also want to point out that I'm wearing. I don't think you can identify this. This is actually a Beck shirt from
the music.
Yes. It was a concert from Dallas. I saw Spoon Beck and Cage the Elephant in one show. Back
Nice.
right before COVID, 2019, before COVID. So, yeah, that's what I'm sporting today, and I
Cool.
can't tell what you have on today.
Yeah,
I'm
I was
guessing.
actually, this is, you are very observant because I don't do reveals, but you can tell a zipped up hoodie with red underneath. There's going to be a reveal, right?
That's right.
There's got to be a
That's
reveal.
right.
There's gotta be a reveal. So the reveal is, and my point with this reveal is, send us swag, because when you don't send us swag, or we're out of swag, or we already worn the same Stone Cold t-shirt 7 times, or Credo, or all these other great brands that have sent us swag. This, I start wearing stuff like this. Super Mario Kart
Nice.
on Nintendo.
64? Is that
Super
64?
Nintendo, I should say.
Super Nintendo. Okay.
Yeah, and this
Nice.
was a great game that, and I'll just keep it like this for the remainder of the show, and hopefully it doesn't turn anyone off. But essentially, I was ranked in the top 5 in the world at this game. I played
Wow.
online when online first started on a thing called X-Band for those that are above the age of like 36, 35. You know what X-Band is? It was the first online system for Super Nintendo. You put in the X-Band, remember, like Game Genie and all that? You put in that one first, and you put the game on top of the cartridge. So there's 2 cartridges.
Yeah.
And then you plug in your phone line. There's no Wi-Fi. You plug in your whatever it is. I think the Cat5, or I forget the cord.
Yep.
And you go through the modem, that that whole thing. And then on top of that, in 2019, one of my friends called me and said, "Dude, there's a vintage video game show that's in Pomona on the fairgrounds, like this huge event center, and it's for Super Mario Kart. And there's going to be like 100 people showing up. They're all going to compete for a medal, and King Nerddom, right? That's the prize. And then the final 2 players that make it all the way through the bracket play on the big screen that goes out to the entire convention. So me and my friend that I grew up playing Super Mario Kart with, who I was, I was better than, right, as a child, we went there together and we both played, and we never faced each other. We always faced other people. It just so happened to land that way, and just went from 100 to 50 to 25 to whatever, 12 people, and then it went to 6, and it just kept going down, 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 and then it ended up being me and him in the finals. It was crazy.
Really?
And then we played on the big screen, and I was up 4 games. You have to win 5, like 5 courses, and I was up 4-0, and he came back to 4-3. And I'm like, holy shit, is this going to be like the miracle in Pomona, right? And luckily, I beat him. It was a great game, and I won 5-3, and I took home a medal, which is somewhere in my storage. So
That's
that's my
fantastic. I'm getting Billy Mitchell fistful of or
yeah.
King of Kong vibes. I mean, that's Steve Wiebe versus Billy Mitchell from the King of Kong. That's good stuff. That's good
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. For those that have not seen that movie, you probably saw it. Did you see it in the theater when it first came out?
I didn't see it in the theater, but I've watched it more than once at home.
Yeah, such a great movie. I won't get we won't get off on a tangent, but the guy also does something very special. This guy that became the top ranked, right? I think in Donkey Kong, Fistful of Quarters, King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters.
Yep.
And he does something very special at the end of the movie, which is awesome. So
yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah. So let's shout out some people here. Then I think, Wade, I'd like to go through also just some news and new products that I'm seeing, and and then and then we're also going to talk about this this lawsuit that's happening against, it's public information, UNFI, right, about the chargebacks that are happening. And I think this is not just a UNFI thing. This happens with many other distributors as well. So let's do some shout outs here. Then we'll get right into the current events.
I want to make sure we don't forget our ongoing sponsor, V-Driven. We'll talk more about them later, but there's the link for vdriven.com and Luke Abbott. So we'll talk more about them later. All right. Who we shout now?
That's a foreshadowing thing from.
That's right.
Yep. So we have Rachel Robb. That was on her 100th episode with Critical Mass Group. Happy Friday, everyone. Rachel, good to see you. Katie Gervin. So she is the sponsor with with Habel & Co. and halva, this delicious organic sesame tahini treat. We said, hopefully she can hop on here for a few minutes. If not the end of the world, but we definitely want her to come on if she can to talk about the product. Derek Gould, ahoy. How's it going, Derek? Dima Mararu, my man, Guru Energy. Happy Friday. And who else? Got some Wade Yenny action in here. We got Jerry Curiel. Buenos tardes. Is he a new one? Is he a first time, long time?
You'd have to ask Jerry. Jerry is the vice jefe at Morenita Foods.
Okay, cool. Well, if it is your first time tuning in, welcome to CPG Vibes. Thank you for being a part of the community, and however we can help, shout it out. Maybe someone can help. So we have also Waleed Nasruddin. He's interested in sponsoring. We'll email, and we flashed the email up. If you missed it, cpgvibes100@gmail.com. Hank, awesome.
Well,
Nature's Wildberry.
Good to have Hank back. He says he's been busy, right?
Yes, he's been very, very busy. Just had the Shark Tank airing about 5-6 months ago, and we had him on as a guest last year. And he's a second timer. There we go. So
there we go.
Welcome back for the second.
I was going to say we must not have messed up too much the first time that he came back a second time. So welcome back, Jerry.
Always a good sign. And then we have Courtney Unra. I'm an expert at pronouncing last names that I've seen for the first time, so hopefully I keep my streak here. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on the chargebacks. So a couple smaller, I wouldn't say smaller, but kind of quick news items is Painterland Sisters. This is I think the biggest CPG fundraise I've seen in the last year and a half. They have oversubscribed. They're at 1.27 million. So they meant 1.24 million was their goal, and they extended, and now they're at 1.27. They still have 5 days left. Usually in closing, you raise 10 to 20% of the total because as people, kind of pile on in the last day or so and invest before they miss out. So I see this maybe going potentially to 1.5, which is insane. And they have this really healthy skier yogurt. Are you a skier? Not a skier like on the slopes, but a skier yogurt fan.
Oh, I'm a fan of the product for sure. I'm a fan of their product as well as Thor's product, right?
Yeah, Thor's the other skier.
Yes, yes, love that. But there's the link for the WeFunder. And as of 1.256, so yeah, they've exceeded their goal by about $16,000. 5 days left. It's closing just before midnight on January 30th, or actually February 1st. So January 31st at 11:59 p.m. So a bit time to get it. Great story, terrific product. So excited to see them. Yeah, excited to see them succeed so well in this. That's very good to see. So 1.2 million on WeFunder. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's insane. That's more than the max I've ever raised. I've raised 1.07 million on Republic, and $500,000 on WeFunder. But so I just started consulting them, 6-7 months ago, and helped them get their page up and running. And here they are. So always good to see a success story. And Luke Abbott, what's going on, brother? Some foreshadowing vibes going on here on the show. So, and he is the CEO and founder of V-Driven, our premier sponsor for CPG Vibes. So, Luke, welcome. And it's funny, the other day I was talking with him, and he lives in LaGuardia, which ironically, Leucadia.
Yes.
Leucadia.
Yes. I know how to pronounce that one. Yes, that's my old stomping grounds.
Exactly. It's funny that his name is in the city that he lives in. I just thought I'd mention that.
And I'm actually going to see Luke this week. He's headed down my way, so I'm excited to see him in person.
I see Luke and Luke out there in like Greensboro area.
Yep, he's headed down this way.
Cool. He's been Luke Cadia. There it is. It's Luke from Luke Cadia. And he's been a traveling man. He went to Fancy Food. Tell us what you thought of Fancy Food, Luke, and winter 2024, which we'll also get into. And, and then he went straight to Sprouts. So he's been traveling all around. Then he came back home, and then he's going back out. And that's what he does. He builds relationships. He sees people in person. No Zoom, no Google Meet. You know, he flies out to you. That's the kind of guy he is, and the kind of company they are. So fancy food, we can talk about that, and then we're going to go into uh, the UNFI, also the chargeback, the lawsuit going on. But fancy food, I did not have a chance to make it out there, so I got back late from another trip, and I was just too exhausted, and I knew that if I went out there, it would have been no bueno. I just would have been too burned out and tired. So I missed the show. But from what I heard, it was a slower show. I talked to people that went to the show, and you kind of sense that because when Expo West comes up, and and the Knacks show, the convenience show, and then the salty snack show, you see so many pictures, right, on LinkedIn. And then also we have Hank Watt here, and you can tell us, your thoughts on it. But I've heard it was a little slower, more intimate. One room, it moved to the Las Vegas Convention Center last year, and but of course, still good people there, but just not as busy as Expo. That's what I've heard. But what has Luke said here?
He says, fancy food was amazing. Lots of connecting with amazing people. The show is so much more relaxing than Expo. More emerging brands than ever. So that's great to see. And Hank says it's about a 20th the size of Expo West, which with traffic and whatnot isn't necessarily a bad thing. But speaking of which, Alex, I did officially book my travel. So I will be at Expo West. We'll figure out all the fun stuff that is about to incur later. But I think I'm flying out Tuesday, and I'm flying back home on Friday. So I look forward to seeing a lot of you in the that are watching, listening, whatever now in California in less than 2 months. It's about six weeks or so away, right?
Yeah, it's coming up real quick, and there's going to be the bowling alley event with Startup CPG, so that's going on, and we are in the process of securing a booth, not for the show, but for the happy hour, and we're going to figure out exactly the best day to have the happy hour. Typically, after I think the first day, I think last year was the first day that both halls were open, I believe, but we'll figure out all the details, and we will let you know. So, but yeah, I do like this kind of shows, despite the ups and downs, right? The ups to me is way more networking, more intimate, more relaxed, not crazed. You can see all the booths. It's big enough where there's variety and a lot of innovative products and companies, but not too big where you can't get to all of it. But then I think the one downside is not as many buyers are there, since it is a smaller show. So it goes both ways, but I think meeting with partners, meeting with some of the buyers that are going there, seeing innovative new companies, all great stuff about fancy food. And I thought it was a good move to Vegas because it's just the accessibility is so much better. I mean, I remember when we exhibited at Fancy Food at the Moscone Center, right, in San Francisco. Impossible. Parking, impossible. Loading, unloading, very hard. Took hours. So I imagine Vegas is much better equipped because they do conventions all the time, and it's much more open. Parking was so easy. Last year I just parked, walked right in. It took 5 minutes. No traffic, so.
Right. And I really haven't seen a lot come out of Expo. We had a good representation there. And those folks got back Tuesday, late Tuesday
Oh, you mean
Tuesday.
fancy food?
Yeah, what did I say? Did I say Expo? I'm sorry. But they got back late Tuesday. Didn't have a lot of time Wednesday to catch up, and then of course we're doing our hybrid, work from home Thursdays and Fridays. So hope to get a little bit more info on how things went for our team when they're back in the office on Monday, and talk through a little bit about what they saw. And I'm sure based on the feedback we've seen from Rachel and Luke and Hank, it sounds like there was some good emerging brands there, and look forward to seeing what my team saw from their eyes. So
they're going to be having a lot of lemon slices for breakfast with Nature's Wildberry. It's going to be on everyone's desk. So
that's right.
Good stuff. So one other quick news item that I noticed in the field is a new prebiotic soda, because there's not enough of those, right? A new It's just like, man, like how many times can you come out with the same product and try to relabel it and be successful? It just, I don't know. I like to be honest about that. Like Olipop and Poppy, Wild Wonder, and Tapache, like they have it nailed, and maybe like one other one. Like they have it fucking nailed.
Right.
So unless you want to take on the big beasts of the world with a very similar product, like don't bother getting into the category. It's just going to be so hard. Again, I'm just being honest from the brand perspective. It's good to see new emerging brands, but do something different. And I felt, again, my kind of honest, scathing review is Health Aid, which I love the Health Aid product, but they came out with a new prebiotic. There was one that came out like 3 years ago called like the it was called, I can't remember what it was called, but they discontinued that one. And there's a new one I saw at Whole Foods called Sunsip.
Hmm.
Called Sunsip. You can Google that, folks. Sunsip from Health Aid. And that Health Aid was bought out by private equity. So this is not the original founders anymore. I think they're maybe involved in some way, but it's private equity that's managing it. And I just looked at the back. I'm like, it is not as clean as Poppy or Wild Wonder or Olipop. It has more ingredients, more added flavorings. It doesn't taste as good, and it has the same benefits as all the others. Why would I ever want to buy this at all? Um,
Tell us how
so
you really feel, Alex. Tell us how you really feel.
yeah, seriously, it's
It's funny. I'm trying to pull it up, and there's at least for when I do a Google image search, I can see some of their logos and whatnot. But when I try and go to their website, there's a page, but I'm not getting anything to come up on my end. It's just got
yeah,
links. So,
I'm seeing it here too. Yeah,
hmm.
they have like their canned kombucha, which is that's not to be confused. Like that's their regular kombucha in a can. But you're right. I'm at their website and it's not even on here yet, which is
so it's
another
so is it
kind of
so new that it's not there, or is it already gone?
uh I think it's just so new that it's not. I mean, literally I just saw for the first time this week.
Got it.
So, and if you go to like if you go to Facebook, Sunsip by Health Aid, it's a new bubbly bestie. That's what they're calling it. So
Hmm.
I see what they're going for, the whole California thing, but it's just if you're not going to have a clean product, then and it's not better than what's on the market, how are you going to survive, right? Um, anyway, I know I was sugarcoating that whole thing, right, Wade? Um, so a little spicy today, a little
That's
spicy.
right. That's right.
So let's go into the just this general kind of industry thing, this movement where more and more brands are just getting upset about chargebacks. This is something that's been around for a while. We've talked about it on the show, so we won't beat a dead horse. But there's this lawsuit, with UNFI, who Genius Juice. We didn't have any major issues with UNFI, right? Like we had a good experience with them. Some do, some don't. Some it's neutral. But apparently there is a lawsuit, and if you Google it, you know, uh, which we don't prepare for anything, but it's called Supplier Sues Unify in a chargeback spat. It's Omaha Industries alleges that the distributor withheld $250,000 from invoice payments to offload its own risk. And you can read the article, but I don't know, man. I mean, I know there's some controversy here. Who's right? Who's wrong? All the facts have not come out yet, but I think this is really kind of a semblance of a bigger issue that's been brewing in this industry for a while, which is trucking companies in general, distributors in general, are not making a lot of money off distribution or freight. Their costs have gone up, labor's gone up, gas has gone up, supplies, trucks have gone up, making trucks, the materials. So they're not making as much money or losing money on every unit. So they're getting that back through different programs and chargebacks. And yeah. And again, I'm really wanting to approach this from a, kind of a neutral standpoint on how far is too far. Are they going too far? Are other distributors also, they're doing the same thing? What's the best way to solve this issue and help brands that feel like they're being unjustly charged back too much? And maybe we don't have an answer on what that solution is at this point.
Right, right. Well, you know who can help with that. Our friend at V Driven, Luke Abbott, and the deduction management and service he provides. But that's a cheap plug, Luke. No charge for that one. But kidding aside, you've obviously talked in the past about your issues with another distributor, and certainly it's one of the reasons why we when we talk and when we're encouraging brands about expanding and growing to make sure they're ready, right? And a lot of those contracts, that fine print and all those things that are associated with doing business with these big distributors that are across the country. There are some items on there, deductions being one of them, that are going to be challenging for you to deal with if you're not ready for that expansion. And I think there's many stories out there. This latest lawsuit is just one of them, but that's obviously that particular brand or manufacturer's story on what happened to them and what they're trying to do about it. But it's you have to use the words of a wise man: crawl, walk, run. And expanding into a big national distributor doesn't come without its challenges. So yeah, word of advice, word of warning: be careful. Right, look before you leap. Is that how you would advise someone, Alex?
Yeah, yeah, I would say do your research, read through the contracts, right? Make sure you know what you're signing up for, and just be careful because national expansion is going to have its benefits and its costs, and you need to be ready for that. And I spoke to again, like I mentioned, I spoke to Luke earlier. Didn't have to do with an interview. Just wink, wink. And one thing that that was discussed is there a better way to put in those chargebacks? Because I like to look at it from both vantage points. UNFI, KE, DPI, which is now owned by KE, they're they're doing massive volume with these retailers, and so they give a great discount, right, to the retailer to sell the product to them. Cost plus 8, cost plus 10, maybe 12. I haven't really seen anything above that unless it's a DSD where they're delivering right on the shelf, right? Like something that High Touch does or Rainforest does. So, there's that going on, and so they're not making a lot of money on every unit because they want to offer the best deal possible to keep the price low, to keep movement going in the stores, right? So a product that's through UNFI is $3.99. A product that's through a DSD could be $4.99, right? Because it's the higher cost of selling to that retailer through a DSD. So they're not making a lot of money. I think, is there a better way where there's a flat chargeback, just a doing business? And this is something that
Is
Luke
like a
brought up.
swell allowance or something of the sort, right?
Yeah, like an allowance that just says, hey, you do business with UNFI or KE or whoever. If there's a major mistake, like you send us spoiled product that arrives to our docks, bad, we obviously charge you for that. But we're not going to nickel and dime for something that came in late, or we over ordered and now you're responsible for that product that's in our warehouse that's expiring. No, it's they over ordered, right? And that was proven. So there's a lot of gray area here, but I think removing all the details, I think signing up for Unify, if they could remove, and or anyone, any national distributor, removing all those mini chargebacks or activating new items and all these things that can really hurt a smaller brand with all this money going out for launches, just put it towards an allowance and keep it a flat allowance that everyone pays. And the key thing is you can budget for it. Like that it's going to be 7% of your revenue come hell or high water, unless you make a mistake in production or you ship too much or something that's a mistake on your end. So that way, at the end of the day, if you're going to do $1 million with a distributor, that it's going to be 7%, and that it's going to be $70,000 in that year and nothing more. I think where brands run into problems, like you said, is they're not fully prepared for how much the chargebacks could be, or they don't have the time to review the chargebacks, which some could be erroneous by mistake, right? Not on purpose. And now they're below water and they're not making any money. That's
Well,
where brands
yeah,
run into problems.
yeah, and I was going to say, I think that's some good advice. Whether you allocate a percentage up front, kind of accrue it on the back end, so that you've got that money set aside and you're not looking at that as operating cash. And I know the other thing that comes into play is the way they do business. You're with the MCBs and all those things. You're getting MCB, so you're getting paid for this in December, but then here comes January and you're getting hit back for the MCB from December. And I think there's just a lack of understanding with how that world operates and how to navigate that. So it's definitely something that it's one of the reasons why people like Luke are so useful and helpful with emerging brands as they try to expand. It's better to be precautionary than to just get caught off guard and boom, all of a sudden you're down 250, whatever that number is, right?
Yep,
So
exactly. And this show is really, in this episode, and what we're talking about is really to present. And we're going to bring Katie on. She's popped in and out a few times here in our green room here. So once she's back in, we're going to bring her right on the show, the
okay.
sponsor for this week. But our goal in this show, and something I work on personally, is presenting the facts. Like not being subjective and saying, no, this person's right and this person's wrong. No, like that's not what we're here to do. We're presenting what's going on, what's a reality in this industry, and not only focusing on the problem, but what is the solution, right, in all this, so that brands feel like they're being better taken care of. Because I've heard a lot of stories, right, as you can imagine, from being on the in the trenches with other brand owners and what they've gone through with many different national distributors, not just singling out one, right? So it's an industry wide challenge, it seems. There's a comment from Shannon, so Shannon Peffley here, my man Shannon, and hopefully maybe he's on his canoe in a river right now. He does a lot of retreat stuff. You probably have seen that on LinkedIn.
Yep, absolutely.
And so he's probably in nature. And he said, I'd be fine with chargebacks if you could actually get someone on the phone to better. This is so key to me. Get someone on the phone to better understand it. But they usually give you the runaround. We have a brand right now that a distributor keeps missing pickups and the store shelves are empty. Who pays for that? And one thing that you said that I agree with is crawl, walk, run. Make sure you have a dedicated operations person to keep a really close eye on any national distributor, because there's going to be mistakes, because they are running around constantly fixing issues. They got all these brands. They have big brands, much bigger
Yep.
than yours, that they're focusing on, and they don't have as many resources as before to focus on every small brand. So I guess that's pretty accurate advice,
Right.
right?
Well, one of the things I would say too, and while we're waiting for Katie to come back on, is to have an understanding too of the environment and the workforce. We've talked about it. I've talked about it on here with as it pertains to retail and how challenging that is. As far as having the amount of staffing on hand, it's not a matter of scheduling the people; it's a matter of having enough people to schedule. Right. There's a difference between I'm trying to save on labor. I'm not going to, I want one person to work instead of, I need six, but I'm only going to schedule one. This is a situation where we need six, but we only have one to schedule because we're short employees. Now, I'm not saying that's the situation currently, but it's certainly been that way, really realistically, since
Since
going
the
back to
pandemic.
COVID.
Yeah.
And going back even further, and I started to see this when I was in Ohio. We had our own warehouse facility there, and we were starting to have challenges finding drivers for our semis, CDLs. We had issues with people passing drug tests. We had issues with just a variety of things. And I'm certainly not sugarcoating things here or trying to make excuses for things. But when you're talking about like some late pickups and different things like that, and you're talking about third party truckers and different things like that, it's a challenging environment out there right now. So I think there's a little bit of that going on, and I think that it's just it's not as easy as it used to be with regards to the labor situation, both in the warehouses and on the drivers on the road. It's tough out there, no doubt about it.
Yeah. And, it's funny, the other day, as you're talking about this, I pulled up to a 7-Eleven. I wasn't buying cigarettes or alcohol there. I was buying a GT kombucha. And when I was Hopefully people believe me with that. And Mark Samuel, I know you believe me, man. You know how dedicated I am to health. So when I was outside the 7-Eleven, I saw the Goyaki, the yerba mate van, the yellow, the big bright colors. And so they've set up their own distribution. They just said, fuck working with any distributor at this point. We want to have full control, right? And that's, again, not the right route for every brand, especially if you want to go national and Sprouts or Whole Foods. But they built it from the ground up over many, many, many years. I think, 15, 20 years at this point. And they just hired drivers and vans and put in distribution centers. It's shelf stable, which makes it a lot easier to get in a long shelf life. And they just have people delivering it. They invoice them on an app, the CRM app, and then people pay either cash on delivery or they have terms, and they have a great department that handles all the collections from all these different stores, independents. And that's why I think that's led to tremendous growth for Goyaki or Mamate, where they started in so many independents and 7-Elevens, which are franchised, right? So they're individually owned. And not, again, it's a hard model for people just to pick up and do. But, I've noticed brands that focus on their regional area and they have 3 drivers and they just go out all day and deliver, and it's all DSD. They fill the shelves when it's empty. They maintain store relationships really well. And it seems that model works at a micro level. Where it becomes an issue is when you want to go national. But I don't know. Like, that to me could be something for the wave of the future on how brands grow responsibly and crawl, walk, run, start regionally, and you control every point of distribution from production to warehousing to delivering to the customer relationships. So I thought that was interesting.
Right. Do we want to try? I know Katie said there's some connection problems there. Do we want to try her one more time to see? Katie, do you want to try and jump in? I don't know if that's on our end, Alex, or what's going on there.
That's well, mine's working fine. Yours is working fine. It's probably a connectivity issue. Or maybe let's just blame it on StreamYard. We always do that.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
So
I was going to. We want to wait and see if that comes back, or we'll just talk about the product towards the end, like we usually do.
Yeah, let's just roll with it. I think she also messaged me privately saying she tried like 3 times. This is our sponsor, and so if she comes back in, we'll try to get her on. If not, we're gonna mention the hell out of your product, and we're gonna, obviously, because we love it. I love your product, and Wade loves it. You sent us samples, and then we can always make it up to you. We can have you on another episode. So, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, we're waiting to see if she pops back in. I wanted to shout out my friend, buddy Brandon Johnson down in Louisiana. He's got a good comment here. He and I worked together at Rouse's when I was down there, and he's out doing his own thing now. And connect with him if you haven't already. But he says he's a fan of smaller brands using smaller distributors as they get started. Crawl, walk, run. As an emerging brand, it's not always necessary to jump right into KeHE or UNFI. We've talked about this. Find a local regional distributor that will care for your brand. Put more money towards the cost of goods instead of all the fees associated with major warehouses. Once you're successful at the shelf, build brand awareness in the market, you can grow into a larger distributor model. Great stuff, Brandon. Well said. Katie's here.
Can you hear us, and can we hear you? I don't think she can hear us. Can you hear us at all?
Hi. I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so while we have connection, might be only
moving.
Oh, no. Okay. So I think she's having trouble hearing us. I think Wade will.
Yes, but there's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah. So let's we're gonna.
Can you hear me?
We can, but it's all delayed. So
No.
Let's bring you on another episode. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. We're going to talk a lot about your product here, but thank you. Take care.
Short while.
All right. It's going to be just too much delay to have a conversation. Sorry about that, Katie, but let's talk about her product again.
Yeah, I was going to say, so Habel and Company, right? And well, do you want to talk about the giveaway now, or we'll talk at least about the product? They're based in Los Angeles. They're based in Los Angeles, the country's largest producer of certified organic halva. If you're unfamiliar, halva is a confection made of sesame. Habel and Company halva has a creamy, cotton candy-like texture that melts in your mouth. They got quite a few flavors, and if you're the winner of the product today, you're going to get a mega super bundle that includes 6 flavors. It's curated to delight the palates of Hava connoisseurs. The bundle includes a half pound. That's a half pound. Each of the following: vanilla halva, pistachio Nigella halva, chocolate chunk halva, peanut butter chocolate crisp halva, which is a special collaboration flavor with Molly Ye, a super seed halva, and almond cocoa coconut halva, which is a limited edition flavor. So, Alex, I know you're a big fan. Talk a little bit about the product. I know I've tried a couple and I've enjoyed it. What's been your experience so far?
And I love it. I love the product. If I didn't like it, I would say so, right? So, and that's I haven't been sugarcoating anything on this episode, and it's addictive in a real good way. It's super clean. I love the texture. It does have that kind of airy cotton
Light,
candy,
very light, yeah.
very light, and you dig into it, and also it's very dense. I mean, I'm kind of contradicting myself, but it's also dense. Like, you don't need to eat this entire thing to be satisfied. You can have a quarter of this and you feel good. You're like, I got my sweet fix and it tastes great. So, I mean, it's clean ingredients. I mean, they're vanilla, and you can see I have not dug into the vanilla yet. I've dug into the peanut butter one. There's another chocolate one, chocolate chunk I dug into. I'm leaving the vanilla for last. And, but look at this, Wade. Organic sesame seeds, organic tapioca syrup, which is just from a plant, organic cane sugar, organic palm oil, which is sustainably sourced, organic kilaha, which is a natural emulsifier, very clean, and organic vanilla beans, and a little bit of citric acid, which is basically like lemon, just to stabilize it. So that's it. It's like 6-7 ingredients, all organic, 100% organic, vegan, gluten-free, and non-GMO. So, and I love the packaging on it. It looks very chic, and they're in North Hollywood. So there you go. NoHo.
Yeah, definitely something. When's the last time you saw or bought halva for that matter? You know what I mean? It's not something. I think it's something new. It's something certainly innovative, and
yes,
it's exciting stuff. And the packaging is strong.
Dynamite.
And,
Dynamite.
Yes, yeah, great stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
So I think, and it's a very cultural type product, right? If you look up halva. So, but it's like a blessing and also always a difficulty, right? Where you're bringing something to market that is loved all over the world and getting the American palate to buy into it and get it off the shelf. But I think based on the product quality and the packaging, it's going to get a lot of people's attention to at least buy it, try it, and then they'll come back again. So why don't we, we've covered a lot of things on the show, but one thing we haven't covered are things in addition to halva that we love. So let's get that kick-started here. And so Wade, you said I need to cover for you on this one?
Well, I was going to say,
or do you have one?
No, you need to cover for me, but I was gonna shout out the halva just because we got the samples. I've had a chance to try several. I haven't tried all of them yet. I think so far of the ones we've tried, I think my favorite was the limited edition almond cocoa coconut was my favorite.
Oh yeah, that was the first one I had. Yeah,
that's my favorite so far. So that's what I've got. I don't have it in front of me because guess what? It's gone. But
it's in your stomach. Yeah.
But I know you said that you were excited about something. So what do you got up your sleeve?
Yeah, and I love the kind of a marbly look, right? The almond coconut. Yeah, so it looked really high end. That was the first one to go for me too. So Target has they exclusively launched the new Suja protein that came out. So, and you have a Suja. What is that? Is that a bottle? That's a bottle, right?
Water bottle. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. San Diego, right? That's their stomping grounds, and used to be your stomping grounds, Oceanside, right?
Yep.
So like Suja runs deep in Southern. I mean, they're everywhere, but they started in Southern California, and so they launched, I think either nationally or at least regionally, their Suja protein. Has a ton of vitamins in here, pretty damn clean, couple gums in here, which I wasn't crazy about, but it's 100% organic, tastes phenomenal, not powdery at all. I'm leaving some in the bottles. You can see what it looks like, but I had to work hard not to finish this bottle. I'll tell you that. They have 3 flavors. They have vanilla cinnamon, they have a chocolate, and they have a coffee. And they have vitamins A, B, C, D, and E. So they put all the vitamins in there. Interesting product, interesting branding, a lot of black and white, and it pops. But again, only at Target from what I've seen.
Good stuff.
The other one is I met with the man, with Rahul. He was on our show last week.
From last week's episode, right?
Yep. So I met with him in Manhattan Beach. He was gracious enough to drive all the way down, an hour through an hour of traffic. And then he kind of played it off like, oh, it's all good. Like I was going to go down here anyway. I'm like, I know you're just trying to make me feel better, but like, no, man, thank you for coming down here. Even if it was kind of on your way, for spending, I feel grateful that he spent the time with me as he felt grateful I spent the time with him. So I offered some advice for him, being in this industry for many years, because he's a budding new kind of entrepreneur getting into launching his own drink, which is a chai latte with oat milk called Raja. Now, he gave me 3 cans, and this one I've left sealed, but the other 2, crushed them. Just delicious. And it's so clean, so freaking clean. He uses oat milk, black tea leaves for the energy, blue agave nectar, clove, cardamom, cinnamon, black pepper, fennel, ginger, star anise, which is an herb, nutmeg, and has 40 milligrams of caffeine. 40 grams would probably kill someone. So 40 milligrams of caffeine, which is like a third of a cup of coffee. And beyond just a phenomenal product that he's launching in the next few months, phenomenal person. Just great listener. He had a notepad. He was taking notes on a lot of things I was advising, for him, and just very open-minded, very humble. So love the guy, Rahul Batra, and look out for his product to launch in NorCal closer to the summer. So that was my.
I was going to say I've got the link there, and if you go to the website, you actually have to sign up to get notified when they're going to launch. So they're acquiring some email contact information there. So if you want to support Raja, I'd suggest you go there and throw your email in there, and you'll keep up to date with where he's at in the journey.
Exactly right. So yeah, great, phenomenal drink. I had some minor advice on tweaking it, making it a little thicker, a little more creamy. But for a first version, this could be shelf ready. To me, this is like, you put this on a shelf, you drink it, you're going to love it, love the taste, not too sweet, great mix of spices. Wade, as soon as you can, get your hands on this stuff. And I know Renee is going to go crazy over it too. So
nice.
That's Raja. So that's my stuff we love. And of course, I love halva as well. But I've already said that ad nauseum. So just again, another reminder, we have our ongoing sponsor, which is V-Driven. And then, and I'm going to speak more just off the cuff because there's no script, just chat. It's headed up by Luke Abbott. He's a CEO and founder, and they really help on the master sales side. They have relationships with buyers. Luke's a beast. He just goes out and visits everyone he possibly can, including whether it's Wade, whether it's Sprouts Corporate, whether it's Whole Foods, anyone and everyone, Fresh Time. And he just knows everyone in the industry, whether it's a founder or a buyer. So he'll go to bat for you to help build your brand. But they also do trade spend deduction management, which is a hot topic we talked about today, which is important part of the crawl, walk, run, to be prepared to work with a national distributor and the territory it comes with. And they also do accounting as well. And they are very, very, very affordable for outsourced accounting. And Genius Juice is currently a client of V-Driven as well. Just want to mention that.
So yeah, and I was going to say, there's Luke's information there, and I think not to get completely on the Luke train, but Alex hit the nail on the head. He has those connections, right? I mean, he's I'm not making it up when I say he's coming to see me next week. He's coming to see me. He's based in California. He's coming to North Carolina. He was at Fancy Food. He was at Sprouts. He has connections with the right people to help you grow your brand. And whether it's, I refer to it kind of like an a la carte system, right? As far as if you need help with operations, he can help you with that. If you need help with fundraising, if he can't help you, he'll get you to someone that can. If you need help with trade spend, he can do that. Sales, he can do that. So it's a great person to be connected to. And I know without question, there's been multiple people that our audience, our community that have reached out because of the conversations we've had, and Luke's been on the show, a past episode, and now they're saying the same thing that we're talking about. Is like, geez, he's been very helpful to me. So very worth the conversation. Shoot him a note, and I think you'll see what we're talking about. So
absolutely,
yep,
absolutely. He's everywhere. He is everywhere. So yep. So let's go into our next segment, which is Friday freebies.
Friday freebies.
All right, Wade. I think I am not as jealous because I already have it, right? I've already been sent it. But this is an amazing prize with an amazing product and an amazing entrepreneur. This is Halva with Hebel. Hebel & Co. is the name of the company. And Halva is the name of the product. It's an organic sesame tahini treat. And they have flavors such as vanilla halva, pistachio nagila halva, chocolate chunk halva, peanut butter chocolate crisp halva, special collab with Molly Ye, and super seed halva. And of course, the limited edition almond cocoa coconut halva, which is your personal favorite. So these are all going to be included in a mega super bundle with these 6 flavors to delight the palates of halva connoisseurs. It's a half pound of each one, like as you mentioned, and they're based in Los Angeles. Hebel & Company is the country's largest producer of certified organic halva. If you're unfamiliar, halva is a confection made of sesame and tahini for those that see it in like as a dip. Hebel & Co. halva has a creamy cotton candy-like texture that melts in your mouth. That is the truth. So the prize will be sent directly to you, continental United States. All right. Question. Do you have one, or do you want me to?
I do have one. I don't know if it's going to be too hard because it was near the beginning of the show.
Okay.
But let's throw it out there.
So why don't you go for it, and then I'll tell the backup.
All right. So I mentioned the shirt that I'm wearing. I mentioned 3 bands at a concert.
Man, that's hard.
3 bands at a concert. I
Making
saw.
Him work for that halva.
And no, well, I'll tell you what, Alex. I'll even 2. I was just gonna say I'm gonna go meatloaf on him. I'll say give him 2 out of 3. I'll give him 2 out of 3. So you have to get 2 of the 3 bands that I saw in Dallas in 20. Look, boom, Derek already got it. How hard was that?
What?
How hard was that? There it is.
How in the hell did he get that? So I only remembered Beck and like some kind of utensil. That's all I remember.
There it is. Derek's going to get on the halva train. So Derek, email cpgvibes100@gmail.com.
It's like record.
Prize. That was fast. That was fast. So I think somebody was taking notes. What do you think?
I think he wanted the halva really badly. It just came to him.
I love it. So I think he's a first-time winner too. So that's fantastic.
Long time first time listener.
Yeah,
first time
and
winner.
I was going to say Derek is with if I'm not mistaken is with iLevel, right?
Yep.
And one of the best posts I saw of the week was from David Abrahams with iLevel. I'm going to put the link up here because I really thought it was a fantastic post. I'd encourage everybody to go back and look at it. It's talking about just the state of the industry, natural products, expo, etc. I just thought it was a really good post. I'm going to put the link here for everybody to check out and see. It just really hit me and just kind of just with what's going on right now. So copy and paste that bad boy in there, and you'll see David's post. And Derek, congratulations. Alex, what do you got going on this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, you already know what's going on tomorrow. So got my religious golf session coming off an all-time low score, as mentioned last week. So I'm going back to the same golf course. I'm like, can miracle, what is the saying? Can the miracle strike twice, or can lightning strike twice? So let's see. It's I'm under pressure now because I got a 76 on this course. I'm going back. So that's going to be tomorrow morning. And then Sunday, I think the games are on Sunday, right? The semis.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
So sorry to Kenny about your Bills. Really sorry about that. And I was watching it. That was the one where the guy kicked it left, right?
Yeah, it was a good game, but they just didn't do it. Nor did my Browns. So
Yeah.
no Browns Bills championship. It is what it is.
Yeah, not this year at least,
No,
but
exactly.
it'll happen. It'll happen
Yep.
sometime before the end of the decade. I promise.
There you go.
Yeah, you have to wait a long time for good things to come, right? As a
That's right.
Cleveland fan, you're used to that.
Exactly.
So, but it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun to watch, and we're all heading over to our family's house to watch both games. How about you?
Well, Alex, now that you asked, tomorrow actually is not golf day. It is Royal Rumble day. So
Oh,
I know I don't know that Bilal's on right now,
where's
but
your Stone Cold shirt?
I was going to say I know Bilal will be watching. I'm sure I'll be texting him at some point to talk a little bit because he's a big wrestling guy. So we always have a lot of fun for the big show. So that's really all you need between Royal Rumble tomorrow and football on Sunday. I think that's probably going to be tie up most of the weekend for us outside of getting outside a little bit. Weather's nice. We hit almost 70 today, so
Nice.
try and get outside a little bit and enjoy the sun while we have it. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, the weather's as as well as being really good there. It's the best it's been here in the last 3 months because usually it's freezing in the morning. When I say freezing, like 40, which is not bad over there. But it's clean. It's in the 60s and the 70s. It's going to be beautiful. It's beautiful right now. So cool. Well, Wade, love you, buddy. It's been a great episode. We're now into the second centennial
That's right.
epic of our series here. And again, if you'd like to sponsor our show, cpgvibes100@gmail.com. If you would like to be a guest or have a show idea, we're also very open to those. So same email, cpgvibes100@gmail.com. I'm going to do the Hulk Hogan. If someone wants to send us swag and they want to email us to get our addresses, what do they do?
Well, I was going to say, be careful with that Hulk Hogan because he rips the shirts. You won't rip it. You'll
I'm not
just,
going to rip. No,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
not
you'll
a
show it.
Mario Kart shirt.
Exactly,
No way.
exactly.
I won't do that, brother. So, but I will go to a drive-through dressed as Stone Cold ET. I got to do
There
that.
you go. Love it.
Yeah, that's YouTube, Stone Cold ET. You'll know what we're talking
go.
about. All right. Well, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Have a safe weekend, and we'll catch you next week, same place, same time, 2:30, 5:30 Eastern, right here on LinkedIn Live. Take care, everyone.